Hello, my friends from around the world. Welcome to Daily Nuggets. I have a special young lady here with us today on this Daily Nuggets podcast. Number one, Queen happens to be a special guest today. Woo-hoo.
Hello everyone. I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be the first. Thank you.
Yes, I'm excited. We are going to get to know our lady queen today. She is the queen of Abuja.
Really exposing my identity, but okay, let's go.
All right, queen. So tell us your full name.
You really want to expose me, Madam Emilia. My full name is Queen Ada Modestus. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my full name.
What does your mom call you?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, my mom calls me Queen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Everybody in my house calls me Queen. Those people that know me really deep sometimes call me Ada, but yeah, Queen is what most people go for.
I see. So, you are a twin.
Oh yes, I am.
Is your twin also queen?
Her name is Joy. I mean, in the palace, you need some joy, right?
You need some joy in the palace, yeah. So it's Queen and Joy.
Yes.
So in your documents, your name is actually Queen.
Yeah, my international passport takes Queen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You see my cake? It has your Royal Majesty on it.
Excellent. So tell us, where are you from, Queen?
I am African first and foremost, but Nigerian to be precise. And in Nigeria, I am from the eastern part of Nigeria.
Okay. The eastern part of Nigeria. Wow. So what brought the Queen all the way here to China? What brought you here?
Good question. First, there are amazing people like you. I wouldn't miss that for the world.
Yeah, thank you.
And second, initially I came to China for a language program because I schooled in a private school and we had some sort of affiliation with the Chinese, right? So I came here for an exchange program, and after that I sort of fell in love with it. When I went back, graduated, I decided to come back here for my master's, and ever since, let's just say I stayed around.
So what did you study in school here in China?
I did Chinese linguistics. My background is in international relations, and for you to actually prosper there, you need a background in language. So I decided to do Chinese linguistics for my master's.
What exactly is Chinese linguistics?
Good question. So that is where we go deep into the root. It's not just about the language right now. You're trying to study why you even have to speak that way. You know, the origin of the language, the foundation of it, the characters, you basically break them apart. That's basically what linguistics is. And if I want to be honest, I think I actually studied the applied linguistics. So basically how you use it, how you use language. Talk about pragmatics and the rest. That's boring, but basically that's it.
How you use a language, okay? So that includes on how you put your punctuation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It
because
does.
it can have different meanings.
Oh, it does.
And with Chinese, especially how you pronounce different words. One day I was telling my taxi guy to wait for me in a taxi. Apparently, according to my students, I was saying a bad word in Chinese. So when I told my student, I said, the guy started laughing. And my student said, that's why he was laughing. So you have to be really careful.
No, I'm not surprised.
So you all the way here. So what are you doing right now in China?
Okay, right now I like to think of myself as a diplomatic discourse analyst. That is something very many people don't know about. So let's put it in a simple term. It's a combination between diplomacy and linguistics. So basically you sort of use applied linguistics to diplomatic language and try to break it down. That is what a diplomatic analyst does.
Yeah. So what are you analyzing exactly? You analyzing the way people speak?
Well, not people in general, because it's very diplomatic. I concentrate on diplomats. Say, for example, when President Xi Jinping says something about Africa, I try to get to the bottom of it. What is he trying to say? Why is he saying what he's saying? And what is really the hidden message behind what he's saying to Africans?
So, Queen, tell us, when you're analyzing, let's say, a president's speech, why should we trust your interpretation of what is going on in his mind? Are you a mind reader?
I wish, then I would know a lot of things, but I am not. Okay, so this is how it works. Yes, that is a very valid question because, I mean, as an analyst, you probably exposed to confirmatory bias. It's when you're trying to confirm what you think you already know. Those are confirmatory bias. But in this case, I mean, it's not just you coming to tell the world, this is what he's saying. You actually have to lay down the facts. You have to look at who is speaking, where he's speaking from, what he's saying, the origin of those words, then link them up together to give an explanation. So it's not just me coming out to say, oh, he said this is what it means. No, I would have to give you the basics, like he said this at so time during such occurrence and at so place with these people present. So obviously this is probably the implication of it. And of course I think I would have to use some diplomatic events to back up what I'm trying to tell you and prove why it is real. So that is how diplomatic analysis works.
So tell me something, Queen. In your experience, how many people really say what they mean and mean what they say? If we're looking at in terms of percentage.
If we're sticking to international relations, right, like diplomat.
Yes.
Now, one of the real skill of a diplomat is knowing when to discuss what you're saying, especially if it's not going to be favorable. I think this is what Harry Kinsinger calls constructive ambiguity. You're saying something, you're not so clear, so many people can interpret it differently to favor them however they wish. So in either ways, you stay friends with both sides. So that, in general, I would say, as a diplomat, not everything you say should be what you want to say. In other words, you have to pick your language carefully. So I guess what I'm saying is, if we're going by the real book, not everything you hear is what the person is saying. Yeah.
So if I'm a president of a country and the country is going down, I'm not exactly going to come over there in front of my population and say, we are going down, our economy is going down, we're going to... So how would you interpret what the president is saying if they're not telling the population the truth? How would you detect the truth from what's going on based on how would you analyze?
Oh, that's a very great question.
Yeah.
And I think how you analyze that would be, one, the time of the speech, the composure of the president, the choice of words he used, his expression, because these are things that would sell him away. Just recently, I mean, to digress a little bit, I was analyzing, the South African president visited Ukraine and Russia, right?
Yeah.
And I was analyzing something like that. And then I said, Russia presenting those documents to the African president wasn't because he was trying to prove that he owns the land in Ukraine. He was only trying to prove that he was a sensible person, he was responsible, and he was law-abiding. Because the world has made him look like an authoritarian. He just does whatever he wants. So presenting those was a subtle message to say, see, I know what I'm doing. I didn't just wake up and start doing this thing. We had an agreement. So basically, we're talking about display here, right? It's not like he came out to say like, oh, I'm trying to be obedient to you people, I'm explaining this. No, but from his reaction you could interpret the subtle message he was trying to send across to the world, that I don't feel I'm above the world, I owe you people a little bit of explanation, and this is what I'm trying to do here. So that is how you interpret these things. You basically look at the person's expression, the person's appearance, because if I'm trying to convince you that, oh, my country, this country is safe, but you can sense panic, you can sense stiffness in my disposal, then you know there is trouble. No matter what I'm saying, you can pick that thread out and know, okay, there's a little bit.
Queen, about love life, what kind of guy do you prefer?
Okay, my answer is simple. A guy that treats me well. Funny story, right? I once told a guy this, and I'm like, he said, what kind of guys do you like? I said, a guy that treats me well. And he's like, oh, wow, your expectations are easy, because I've asked many girls and they'll tell you a guy that buys me a car, a guy that does this, a guy that does that. And I'm like, well, you see, I just shortened the sentence for you, because a guy that treats me well will get me a car. A guy that treats me well will respect me. I mean, it's just a simple conclusion. I need a guy that treats me well. That is it.
So if they treat you well, therefore they will do good things for you.
But of course, yes.
It's kind of like love. If you love someone, you're not going to want to hurt them.
Exactly.
So how would you say your life has been so far in that department?
We're grateful to God, but I think I would just say my life has been very satisfactory. Actually, And all glory to God, not like I am any exception to the general rule, but yeah, it's been amazing actually.
It's been amazing.
Very amazing.
Uh-huh. Is it because now you're wiser, you can analyze better compared to high school, or what? What about back then in high school?
If I want to be honest,
Yeah.
back then in high school, I have been always like into analyzing people, right? But I was extremely nice. So I was too scared to offend anybody. Even when I see, as they say these days, the red flags, right? I still put my head in because I don't want to offend you by telling you, oh, I noticed those red flags you were showing me. I just pretend like I don't see it. But now I think the only thing that changed is I am not scared to tell you those are red flags for me, and I'm not diving in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you outspoken, you speak your mind, but in Africa, people rarely speak their mind.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So when you are speaking your mind, you are not going to make many Africans happy.
Well, that is true, but I think it depends on the way you present it, right? I'm not going to be very confrontational about it. And this is everybody that gets close to me just know this much. I don't take disrespect. I don't care where it's coming from. I just let you know I'm not going to be disrespected. And if that is the way you want to play, then the door is always open. But I mean, if you're somebody that understands those things, then we're cool.
So basically, growing up, you hesitated telling people because you didn't want to offend anyone. But now, as you older, and the older you get, you just tell it like it is. The American way. Sometimes, I joke with my friends and I said, in America, we put things on the table. And sometimes in Africa, things we should be talking about, we don't. We hide it. But then we talk about irrelevant things. Would you say that's the case?
Oh yeah, most times, yes. You're very correct. That is always the case because we don't want to bring out the elephant in the room, even though everybody knows there is one, but we just pretend like it's not there and act like we're all cool, yeah.
So tell me something. When you relate back to some of your high school friends, back in Abuja, for example, what do they tell you about you? Like you have changed, or you still the same? Or
no, of course. It's always like, oh, you have changed, and I'm like, yeah. I mean,
do they like the change?
Well, that is the part that not very many of them are going to be coming out with, right? So far, so good. They say, oh, you've changed. I mean, whether good or bad, I like the fact that I've changed. It shows I'm growing, so I will stick to that.
What about in female relationships? Not love relationship, definitely, but just like friendship. What kind of friends do you look for? Who are your friends?
That's a good question. The problem here is most times we tend to think women are mostly into, oh, where can I buy my next jewelry? Where can I go shopping? But I am not really into those things. I'm more of an ambitious kind of person. So if you are talking about growth, oh yeah, you're my friend. And I mean, small things don't really move me. It's not about the next person. Who is this person? What are they doing? Can you see her dress? It's all about vision. What can we do to make this world better? How can we grow? So those are people I call my friends.
Tell me more about friendships.
Okay, friendship. How I see friendship is this. We help each other grow. It doesn't have to be competition. It's just my success doesn't have to intimidate you, and your success doesn't have to intimidate me. If I see something that can help you, of course I throw it your way. If you see something that can help me, you throw it my way, and we grow and be happy. No jealousy, no envy. I mean, that vibe is really not something I long for. So basically, to me, a friend is someone who wants to see me grow, and somebody I really wish I would see grow. So
is there such a thing, Queen, as healthy competition? If I see, like yesterday, for example, it's not really a competition, but I was looking at your hair and I really admired that. And so what would be wrong with me trying to get my hair like you?
Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Now, I don't think that is actually going to be like a competition, because it's like, for example, if I'm there and somebody say, oh, your hair is nice, and you're like, oh, wait until you see mine, then that would be a competition. But seeing your dress, I'm like, oh, this is really nice, where can I get one? It's basically me admiring something you have one. That is simply okay. I mean, even in relationship, that is basically fine. That is why you need friends, actually, people that motivate you to grow. So if I see something you're doing and I think it's nice, I tell you, please, can you teach me? I like what you're doing. I want to do same. Then that is okay because I'm learning from you. You're sharpening me. You're making me brighter. But if I see something that you're doing and I'm like, you're not the only one. I can do it better than you. Then that is really unhealthy.
I see. Let's talk about role model, Queen.
Okay.
Who in your family has pushed you? I know there has to be somebody behind this Queen go-getter attitude. There has to be someone.
Let's see, my family. My mom is quite a very strong woman, obviously. But I think one of the truth I like to tell people is growing up, there was this particular lady. I can never forget her. She used to come by the house and she would come with her driver and two security guard, policemen, I think. And she was so decently dressed. Oh my God, we lack that these days though. Head to toe, she's well covered. Her dresses are always flowing on the ground, and she walks so gracefully. And I remember I was really young, maybe say 2, 3, I can't really remember, 5 maybe ish, somewhere around there. And we're always playing outside, right? And whenever they drive into the compound, they would open the door for her to come out of the car and then she would just walk so gracefully out. And I remember I would always stop every time she comes and I would just look at her. In my tiny mind, I'm just thinking, this woman is so gracious. I want to be like her when I grow up.
Wow. Children really do learn what they observe. Wow.
True.
So are you still in contact with that neighbor?
Oh no. She wasn't even a neighbor. She just comes to the house every now and then. And actually it's been I don't think I've seen her since I grew up. That was like long ago. But that picture of her, just because every day I wake up and I see myself in the mirror, that is just the person I want to be.
That's who you wanted to be like. Wow, that is so powerful.
Oh yes.
People, everything you're doing out there, somebody's watching. A child is watching. You influencing people in ways that you will not even imagine. Wow. Daily Nuggets would like to thank Queen for taking her time for our very, very first podcast on Daily Nuggets. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your energy. We appreciate your sincerity in speaking to our audience. Folks, if you would like to contact Miss Queen, we're going to put her contact right here at the end of our show. Thank you so much. As always, do not forget to subscribe to Daily Nuggets. Invite your friends. Tell them about our new podcast. We just finished our first episode. We hope you like it, you enjoy it. And we'll see you later and write your comments. Bye-bye.